Hello out there in YouTube land. Today's video is on emotions, and the title is Try Not to Puke Your Emotions Onto Others. So what happens with emotions? A lot of us bottle them up, and in our society there's a lot of situations where we can't express emotions. So we bottle them up or repress them for many years, and then things happen that trigger the emotions, and the poor person that's standing there that ended up triggering us a lot of times cops the emotions. So basically that's a pattern of repression and then being triggered and expressing it. There's alternatives to this. What we can look into doing is learning to, if we've been repressing the emotions, learning to find ways to express them. Like you can be at your house and nobody's there, and you can get a pillow and you can start hitting it until the emotions start to flow, and then that's a better stage than being in the repressed stage. Or you can go to a boxing class and hit a bag and get the emotions out there. Or another stage is, which is beyond this, is you can start to sit with your emotions. Instead of sitting from the head, you sit from the right side of your heart and feel things as they arise, and you're just learning to be with it. It's not easy, but it's a much more advanced stage than repression or expression. The thing is, if you don't want to sit with the emotions from your head because the logical brain or the head doesn't like emotions, and that's the part of the head that judges them. So or there's another stage where you can start putting the emotions into positive things, like if you have a lot of anger or repressed emotions, you can start putting that into a work project or funneling it in that way. Or for women, dancing is a good way to learn how to move emotions through. So just in your house or whatever, you can put on music and just let the emotions move through the body. The big problem is our society has a lot of situations where we have to not be authentic, so we end up kind of bottling things up. So remember, the least ideal situation is where you just bottle them up and then someone cops the brunt of the emotions that we've held from the past. So it's like the past is affecting the present moment, and we don't really want to function in that way of being. So the next step is you start by yourself finding ways to express the emotions, and that's better than bottling them up, as long as you're not throwing them at somebody else or your dog or your kids or your wife or your husband or whatever. The best stage is to learn how to sit with the emotions so that you take enough time in your day and you're peaceful, and you learn that emotions are basically just sensations that have been repressed, and you spend some time with them. The worst thing possible is to just drug or numb out the emotions with food or drugs or anything like that. That's basically just not dealing with the emotions and pushing them down further and further. And if in our society, if we often go for health care or whatever, the person on the other side of the desk is willing to help us to not deal with our emotions and basically push them down even farther and numb them out. And it's important to remember that numb is not alive. So if we're alive people, we're going to feel stuff, and we're going to be in the game and feeling stuff, not numbed out thinking that numb is healthy. So those are just some thoughts today on emotions, and I hope it helps. Take care. Bye-bye.